When's the last time you seen Neil Magny be a plus 310 underdog with a minus 400 favorite in Rakhmonov, the Nomad? Neil Magny is such a great fighter, man, and he's been doing this for so long. Who else has besides the Cowboy Cerrones, besides the Jeremy Stevens, besides, dudes of that caliber, who else has a 19-7 UFC record, bro? Like, this dude grew up in the UFC. And he's on a he's on a 2-fight win streak. His last loss came to Michael Chiesa, I believe. But wins over Max Griffin, split decision. That was very close, very controversial. Win over Jeff Neal. That was a big win. But I think his last win over Max Griffin was very telling because, bro, he got rocked early. It was looking really bad, but he has the war of attrition pace style to be able to get back on his feet and get back into the victory lane. But if we're talking about Shavkat Rakhmonov, AJ, he doesn't even put himself in that spot in the first place, brother. We have last 5, and obviously 15-0. All 15 wins are by finish, right? So there's no decisions at play here. Last 5, first round knockout, second round submission, first round submission, first round knockout, second round knockout, man. So let's talk about the UFC, though, because this is what's important. His first 3 opponents, have they been the most high-level opponents? No. But for him, given that he was also this question mark, still is the question mark, still on the rise, they were fitting opponents. So you have Cowboy Oliveira, which was, that was a mismatch, brother. Styles make fights, and that was a little bit of a mismatch. But first round guillotine, that was beautiful. Prezeres, I believe his first name is Michael Prezeres or something like that. Second round submission, man. But that was also like the shortest dude versus the tallest dude. Another mismatch, not right. Then you finally get Carlston Harris. And believe it or not, AJ, even though I was so high on Shavkat Rakhmonov, do you remember I picked against Rakhmonov? I picked Harris in that fight. You remember that? Do you know who you picked? Did you pick Rakhmonov?
I picked Rakhmonov. I've been picking Rakhmonov for a while now, too.
Yeah. So, listen, you can't go wrong with these. Like, you have to just stick with your gut. And, for me, I'm like, Harris could be that spoiled because Harris was on a hell of a run, too. So I'm just like, man. But Rakhmonov made it look easy, man. Spinning hook kick. First round KO. What else do you want to say right there, man? It was a hook kick, couple follow-up punches, whatever. The point is, it seems like Shavkat Rakhmonov, and I don't want to, toot the horn too much on him, blow up his hype, make his head any bigger than it probably already is. He seems like a specialist when it comes down to striking. He seems like a specialist when it comes down to submissions. And he seems like a specialist when it comes down to controlling the octagon. So what problems is he going to run into against Neil Magny? What do you think?
I think it has to be the grittiness, has to be the experience, and has to be that like war of attrition style that Neil Magny brings to the cage, man. This dude is hard to put out. Can he be put out? Yes. But is it going to be, as easy as, Shavkat's last 3? I don't know. Maybe. Shavkat is really, really good. We've been seeing his praises for quite a while. And I agree with you. I think the thing is, man, with these new dudes that are coming up that have been doing it like Shavkat for so long, they're so good at everything. So it's going to be so hard to find something that he has holes in. Obviously he has holes. Everybody has holes. But just with the lack of video that's out on Shavkat, lack of discovering what he has versus how good this dude is, man, very hard opponent right here for Neil Magny. I think he has to lean on that grittiness that he's going to bring to the cage, man, the experience that he has with, what'd you say, 25 fights in the UFC, some crazy number like say again?
Yeah, no, you're just about there, man. So Neil Magny, he's 19-7 in the UFC. So what, 26 fights?
26 fights, and then like 35, 36 actual regular fights just in his whole career. Crazy numbers for Neil Magny, and I think he's going to have to lean on that. What do you think? Is there going to be a hole that he can exploit for Shavkat Rakhmonov going forward?
Well, the problem is that this is a 3-round fight, right? So it's not like he's going to get really testy 5 rounds. All right, let's get it here. But I do think that if Shavkat Rakhmonov, if he's so patient, man, he's so patient, so poised. Everything is controlled, right? It seems like he's just chilling in there, hanging out, having a good time. But if he can put Neil Magny in a bad spot and not get the finish that he's so accustomed to finishing, right? And then Neil Magny storms back with a vengeance, that might give some psychological issues here. But ultimately, man, I just see the difference in Neil Magny is this long, rangy striker, and the ability to cover distance for Neil Magny comes at a cost. And I think that cost is his speed, his power, right? He's not the fastest dude out there, not the most powerful dude out there, but he's the volume guy. He's the war of attrition, break you down by 1,000,000 punches, like death by 1,000 cuts. That's Neil Magny, in my opinion. His wrestling is also the backbone of his offense, right? So when the striking isn't really working, or when he's using that pace style right in front of you and then mixing in the wrestling, he has a lot of success. The problem is, can you have that success against Shavkat Rakhmonov, who, if I'm not mistaken, man, I'm pretty sure he's training with Kamaru Usman in wrestling, brother. So it's just like, I don't know, man. He does train out of Kazakhstan top team, or at least that's what it's listed on SureDog. So I'm not really sure who his training partners are right now, but I do know this dude, like I said, specialist everywhere in the grappling, in the striking, whatever the case may be. I do think that Neil Magny and his 80-inch reach might be able to, might be able to pop that jab off a little bit, get Shavkat Rakhmonov off of his rhythm a little bit. But man, this is just a tough fight, I think, for Neil Magny to win. And as crazy as it is to even hear myself say that, because he's such a bona fide veteran of the game, I think Rakhmonov, man, he's the guy. He's the dark horse, man. He is the Magomed Ankalaev of the welterweight division, in my opinion. The dude who's like the boogeyman. And I think Neil Magny, being so game, right? He wants to fight Rakhmonov. He wants to fight Khamzat Chimaev, right? He wants to fight all of these guys. But sometimes your ego and your pride can blind you from what the reality of the situation is. So I wanted to pull it back up really fast. Look at Neil Magny, man. Look at this record. So wins over Griffin, wins over Neil, lost to Chiesa, wins over Robbie Lawler, Anthony Rocco Martin, Li Jingliang. These are all such high-level oppositions. Last time he got knocked out in a fight was against Santiago Ponzinibbio, and that was in 2018, man. So that was like 4 years ago, right? He got another submission loss to RDA, our boy RDA. Another TKO loss to Lorenz Larkin, submission to Damian Maia. So it's not like he can't get finished. He can get finished, and there are definitely options for Rakhmonov to work at. But let's talk really quickly, because I feel like we're giving Rakhmonov so much praise here. What can Neil Magny do to mitigate, besides being gritty and being a veteran, what can he do to mitigate Rakhmonov's presence, his imposing factor in the cage?
Well, I think you mentioned it just a little bit before in the middle of that, where you're talking about the 80-inch reach of Neil Magny. Shavkat's used to being the bigger guy walking into the cage. He's used to being the boogeyman, the scary guy that's going to be the imposing size difference. Not anymore, man. Neil Magny has a 3-inch height against him and a what kind of reach? Let's see.
It's 3-inch reach.
2 inches on him.
Yeah.
2 inches on the height, man. So a little bit longer legs. If Neil Magny could go in there, kind of dominate that tempo battle, that range battle that's going to be happening in the first round, because you're right, it is a 3-round fight, so it's going to happen quick. If he can dominate that first part of that fight and have Shavkat thinking like, hey man, I've never felt this pressure before, oh shit, like what's going on right here, then I think Neil Magny can have a lot more success. Work the range, man. Work the range. Might need to be Stephen Thompson for this fight, but if Neil Magny could get it done, it'd be very, very impressive.
AJ, let me ask you this. Is this going to be the first fight in Shavkat Rakhmonov's career that he does not finish his opponent?
Man, this might be, I don't know, but this might be the first time in his career he's going to the third round. That's really where I think this one can get dragged into deep waters. And it might be, man. Neil Magny's hard to put away. He's crafty. He's a crafty veteran. So it's going to be very intriguing how Shavkat goes about this fight. Whether he wants to specialize in the wrestling, the ground game, or the striking, going to be a hard fight for either way for both of these guys.
And let's just take a look real fast right here, man. So it looks like, and you can't see all the way down to the bottom, apologies, we're blocking it off a little bit, but it looks like he has been to a third round once in his career. 2018, that was a knockout in the third round, but everything else first and second round, brother. So yep. Yeah, just one. Okay, so yeah, there we go, man. So we'll see what happens. We will definitely see what happens. But, brother, let's check out the props, man. So Shavkat Rakhmonov, TKO prop plus 150, man. They believe in this guy. They really think that he's going to get Magny out of there. So plus 150 for the TKO, plus 275 for the submission, and equally plus 275 for the decision, brother. So, like I said, there is a lot of money definitely on Rakhmonov. But for Neil Magny, there's one, and I don't want to overblow this, man, but I see one path to victory for Neil Magny, and that's decision, man. This is what, look, he has 16 decisions on his record, brother. I mean, when's the last time, I just had his stats up, when's the last time the man has knocked somebody out? It was Craig White in 2018, man. It's been a long time since he's knocked somebody out. He's finished his opponent, man. So for Neil Magny, plus 500 for a decision, plus 1,800 for a submission, and plus 1,000 for a TKO. So clearly, they think the decision is the way to go. Do you agree with that for Neil Magny?
Yeah, I agree with that for Magny. It seems like the best route for him is what we've been talking about, that decision, that grittiness, the range, everything like that. And he's fighting out of Elevation Fight Team, so they're working hard over there. They got a lot of wrestlers, Drew Dober, they got Gaethje, but they got a lot of people out there, so he might come with massive cardio for this one.
And that is actually a really good point right there, man, because I was thinking the only mitigating factor that Neil Magny probably has on Rakhmonov is come round 3, especially if this is like a high-volume, fast-paced fight. does Rakhmonov have that third round cardio to be able to keep up with Magny if he's just nonstop jabbing your face off, trying to just edge you out, steal around? It's going to be tough, man, but give me your pick, brother. What are you doing for Rakhmonov? Are you rolling with the plus 150 TKO, plus 275 sub, or plus 275 decision?
I'm going to roll with that plus 270. Oh, yeah, plus 275 decision. I think that's going to be the way. I think it's going to be a hard fight for both of them. I believe that if it does come down to it and it's a close fight, I think the judges are going to give it to Rakhmonov. But, man, don't sleep on the Magny decision as well. What are you going with, Derek?
I hate to do this, AJ. I hate to do this, but sometimes, man, what I've been doing is I've been allowing the lore, the not idolization, but just the history and the magnitude of a fighter and their history to blind my judgment. I think Shavkat Rakhmonov is the real deal. I think this is the takeover. This is the takeover for the Nomad, and I think that he knocks out Neil Magny in the second round of this fight. Late second round. The over-and-under is 2.5 rounds here. So I'm picking the under. I'm rolling with TKO, Shavkat Rakhmonov. I just think he's going to be too much, especially given how Max Griffin and that speed advantage of Griffin was able to drop Magny a couple times, really have him in shaky legs. I think Rakhmonov is going to capitalize, and that'll be it. So you got the decision. I got the TKO, but either way, we're rolling with the Nomad, Shavkat Rakhmonov.